Hi there, Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Imperial Snowtrooper Hoth Battle Gear from The Empire Strikes Back. Now, I've got quite a lot to say about this figure, including the cardback and the name pill. But this isn't the first time that I've actually held this figure in hand, including the cardback and the actual figure. I was lucky enough to attend MCM Comic Con in London, where they had this figure on display. And pretty much we spent most of the day just messing around with this figure. That's how impressed we were with it. Loads of excitement around this figure. So I'm really happy to finally have one that I can call my own in my own collection, that I can keep and that I don't have to actually hand back at the end of the day. But if you haven't enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's take a look at that card back. All right then, so it is the classic Kenner original 96 image. Amazing card back, this one of the absolute classics. The red name pill, red behind the figure there, really makes him pop. You've got the Empire Strikes Back logo there, and it's just an awesome card back. What else can you say? They are an amazing design, these Imperial Snowtroopers, and that brings me on to the name pill and the fact that they've called him Imperial Snowtrooper Hoth Battle Gear. I'm not too sure if they're trying to kill two birds with one stone there by calling him the Snowtrooper and actually having part of his actual name from the original Kenner version in there as well. But in my opinion, he is an Imperial Stormtrooper Hoth Battle Gear, and that's kind of what they should have named him, really. Or just gone for Imperial Snowtrooper and not included the Hoth Battle Gear. So it seems to me that they might have actually messed up there and not realised it, that it should be Imperial Stormtrooper Hoth Battle Gear. On the back there, we've got VC349. That's the number that he is in the line. He's looking awesome there. And I will be comparing him against, the other version that we got from 2007, I think it was, from the Vintage Saga collection, where we did actually get him on a vintage style card. And I'll also compare him with the Stormtrooper Commander as well, that we got in the 3.75 inch black series, just so we can sort of compare the three, just to see how much this one has come on. But I already know how good this figure is. As I mentioned, I had the pleasure of taking a really good look at it at MCM Comic Con London, and it's already a contender for figure of the year for me. It doesn't really matter what else comes out. This one is going to be right up there towards the end of the year, that is for sure. Awesome design. All right then, we've had a look at the card back. With all that being said, let's take a look at the actual figure. All right then, so here he is out of the packaging, the Imperial Stormtrooper Hoth Battle Gear, also known as the Snowtrooper, and it is an absolute delight to have this figure in hand finally in my own collection, and I'm going to get a bunch of these. I really am. I'm going to be creating a little army of them to go in my Hoth scene. And I'm just loving the figure, everything about it. The articulation is great, which we'll go through a bit later on in the video. The detail's fantastic. He doesn't have that silly removable helmet, which I don't think any Stormtrooper should ever have. We will have a look at the previous version that does have a removable helmet, just so you can compare. I'm even liking the colour of his jumpsuit underneath the armour. I feel that that is pretty accurate to the film. I know some people out there have said that it's a little bit too sort of beigey, and I've also seen a few people moaning about the amount of weathering on his boots. I mean, I think it's absolutely perfect. I'm never going to moan about too much paint applications, considering in this day and age we hardly get any at all these days. So when we do get them and they are accurate to the source material, then I feel that we do have to be pretty happy with it. But we'll take a closer up look at the figure in a second. I just want to get him in a pretty simple pose that's very reminiscent of the card back there, holding the blaster in both hands, which the previous version of this really struggled to do in any meaningful way. And again, we'll compare them in a second, but look at him, man. He just looks absolutely awesome. What a fantastic design these really were for the Empire Strikes Back. They looked absolutely awesome. All right then, so here is a quick comparison of the Snowtroopers that we have. So this is the original Saga Collection version, or Vintage Saga Collection version from 2007. And this is the Commander from the 3.75 inch black series. So we can't really compare these two. I just wanted to sort of put them next to each other. And, it's really these two that we're trying to sort of compare. And this one, the new one, just beats it hands down in pretty much every area, especially the articulation. Also, for some strange reason, this one had a removable helmet, which was always really loose. And that really annoyed me a lot of the time. Why do you need a head under there. You really do not. So we'll just put him back there. And I'm sure a lot of you are aware that this version is actually almost identical to the Black Series version. So they've definitely shared the digital files on that particular figure. And I always rated the Black Series version as well. So I'm glad that we have something on par, if not better. I think the only difference might be the way that they've executed the shoulder pads. These are actually attached to the top of the arm. So when you swivel that shoulder round, the pad actually goes with it. Rather than on some other figures that we've had recently, it sort of stays there and you're able to sort of swivel that arm around and it just lifts up out of the way and then falls back down. These are actually attached to the top, but we'll go over that in a second. But I just wanted to give you a quick comparison there to see how far we've come. And yeah, this new version is just flipping awesome. It really is. All right, let's get a closer up look at some of the details here. What a fantastic sculpt. As I mentioned, it hasn't got the removable helmet. We'll go through the articulation in a second, but I just wanted to show you some of the details there, the sculpting work on his undergarment and all of his armor. Just fantastic. And then he has his little removable backpack there, which is just a little peg that just goes back in quite nicely, doesn't fall out. And there's his soft goods karma. Really nice material. He's got his pouches hanging down, little knee pads, and there's all that weathering on his boots. And whenever I see somebody cosplaying as a snowtrooper, if you like, at events and things like that, the undergarments are always like an off-white, sort of almost yellowy, creamy look to them. They definitely are a lot duller than the actual armor. And I feel that this is what they've recreated here. So really happy with that. And as I mentioned, I just can't wait to get a few of these in the collection, create a little army of them. Absolutely awesome. But we'll take a look at the articulation now. In terms of articulation, the head is on a barbell joint. So you've got the joint that goes into the neck and the one that goes into the head. Now, of course, the articulation is going to be somewhat limited due to the shape of the helmet. And this is like a kind of a softy plastic, but not soft enough that you're going to be able to move it around too much. And we'll just put the head back on. But you do get some movement forward and back. Not too much side to side, obviously, because of the shape, but it does obviously swivel as well. So lots of range of motion with the head. And here's what I was talking about. The shoulder pads are actually attached to the top of the arm. So when you move the shoulder around, it takes it with it, as you can see there, which is a pretty decent design. Decent elbow joints. Wrist on the left hand goes out and in on that hinge, whereas on the right, it goes up and down. Lots of range of motion on the torso crunch. Barbell hips, of course, that we're used to now. All the figures should come with that now. Split at the thigh. We have a knee joint, and this may be the only slight complaint about the articulation of this figure, that it doesn't go past 90. So it's just literally 90 degrees for that knee joint, and the pad is on the front of that knee there, which hides the hinge when it's straight. And then we've got the hinge and rocker ankles. Fantastic. And here he is with the E-Web cannon, just like you see in The Empire Strikes Back. And it would not surprise me whatsoever if we got this E-Web cannon again somehow in like a pack with some snowtroopers. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they did that. But of course, if you can't wait that long and you don't have one of these, then obviously you're going to have to go out and get yourself the Stormtrooper with E-Web cannon, which there was loads of those. You could easily get those. So you probably won't have a problem getting one of those now. But really awesome. This just shows you how you can have them set up in your Hoth dioramas. You could have maybe one or two on E-Web cannons, the rest running in with their blasters, things like that. Absolutely phenomenal figure, this one. And just a few other poses, just so you can see what this figure can do. Obviously, you can get him into the kneeling position pretty easily. Got him in a bit of a running pose there, as you can see. Heck, you could even have him doing a roundhouse kick. Why not? All right then, guys, one last time. This is the Imperial Stormtrooper Hoth Battle Gear in the Vintage Collection, or if you want to go with what Hasbro are calling him, which is the Imperial Snowtrooper Hoth Battle Gear, that's entirely up to you. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I guess the question is, how many are you going to buy? Not are you going to buy them? How many are you going to buy? I think I've ordered 2 cases of these, so I'm, potentially got 16 of these guys to have in my display. Definitely want to keep one of those carded for sure. But that's a nice little squad. I definitely want one on the E-Web cannon, things like that. So all in all, very, very happy with this figure. And as I said, it's going to take some beating, this figure. It really, really is. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my Patreon supporters and channel members, as always. Your support means a great deal to me, so thank you so much. And we shall see you on the next one.